I'm sitting here in the Netherlands with Edward Hartley, who is a pretty well-known networker. And it's great to have you in the Netherlands, by the way. How did you came here?
Well, it was fairly simple. My good friend Igor told me to check my email after just chatting about his success. And everybody knows we've been watching his success for probably the last 9-10 months. And he said, check your email. And there was a plane ticket from Atlanta to Amsterdam. And he told me, get on the plane. I said, but Igor, I'm busy. He said, get on the plane. So after kind of just thinking about it, I said, you know what? It really didn't make sense to watch my good friend a fast track to a billionaire. And that's what I felt. He was on a fast track to becoming a billionaire. And I didn't want my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren to say, well, Daddy's good friend became a billionaire, and you didn't, and he didn't, because he didn't want to get on a plane. So it was a pretty simple decision.
Now, maybe a difficult question, but you were involved in a previous opportunity. You were pretty successful in that one. So why OneCoin at this moment?
Well, you know, what I just said a moment ago plays into it. I mean, some people look at the fact that OneCoin is making people lots of money, and that's clear. It's obvious. But there's a greater mission, and because I'm a person from finance, my background, I'm a forensic accountant. I spent years consulting companies, looking at trajectories of patterns of where companies are going. And it was pretty hard to deny that there was a great deal of success, and that the probability that OneCoin would become a dominant force in not just in cryptocurrency, but in the world economy, that was something that I just couldn't resist. When I didn't know, I didn't know. But after I got on that plane, and I sat here, spoke with Igor, spoke with Andrea, met some other people, of course, even speaking to my good friends, the Steinkellers, and understanding that this is a major movement here. And because in that coffee company that I was involved with, I had the opportunity to open many countries, from Nigeria to Malaysia, even down in the Caribbean, Trinidad, and so many other countries that have been part of the development of those markets. So when you understand the difficulty in terms of money movement and the cost and how it affects the middle class and the not so, I don't want to call them poor, but let's just be real, the people who are less fortunate financially. I think cryptocurrency and the methodology that OneCoin, Dr. Ruja has put together is something that's going to change the world.
Okay, now a difficult question, another one. A lot of people say, listen, OneCoin, it is a Ponzi. And that is, of course, an ugly one. Now, you are a forensic accountant, so give me the reason why it is not.
You know what? Look, I can't tell you it is not, per se, because everyone has a perspective. Just a few weeks ago, I was watching an interview where Bitcoin was classified as a Ponzi scheme. A multi-billion-dollar successful Ponzi scheme. Are you kidding me? You see, what I believe is that propaganda will always get people's attention, okay? So what better way to argue the movement, the growth of something that's really powerful? I mean, just the fact that so many people have paid so much attention and called it those kind of names, that lets you know you're onto something. Why? If you go back, history, and I want to use one example. I mean, I can give you dozens, okay, because I've done my due diligence. But if you take Uber has a market cap today of about $64 billion. And it's a fairly young company. But it was considered a scam. It was considered a company that wouldn't survive. Why? Because the establishment. And again, I'm not trying to sound, I may be considered contrarianism, or a contrarianist, but I'm not an anarchist, okay? So what I'm saying to you is that, yeah, most people will put out negative publicity so that their, whatever their opposition, will have a harder road to travel. Uber, you look back 100 years, there was a shared ride organization. There was a process just like Uber 100 years ago. And it was highly regulated. Why? Because the establishment didn't want it to be successful. It's called the jitney. Anyone who does due diligence about the jitney will understand. A 5-cent shared ride situation years ago was going to put the transportation industry on its side. So they regulated it. It went away. In 2 years, it went away.
Okay. So to wrap it up, you basically say, I go for it.
Yeah, because I believe if it wasn't, look, if nobody pays attention to a dog that doesn't bark. Okay? Okay, so when you understand that there's a lot of noise that's being made, you have a $5 billion market cap in less than 2 years, over 2 million partners and members, and growing at a rate of over 150,000 per month. Yeah, there's a lot of people nervous. And what am I saying? I'm saying that the banking industry, the financial services industry, those who are capitalizing on the inability or the lack of ability to move money freely from country to country, from continent to continent, from person to person, they make tremendous amounts of money. You simplify that by bringing cryptocurrency, by the use of a simple smartphone, just like Uber, a smartphone. Now you're changing the landscape, changing the dynamics, and creating more options for people. It erodes, it eliminates the profitability for the big establishment. So guess what? At a fraction of the cost, yes. I'm going to be one of those standing on that side. I'm planting my flag because I believe in the process. And when we prevail, they'll say, just like they said about the Wright brothers, they said those guys were crazy. We'd never be able to get that big hunk of metal up in the air and defy gravity. But guess what? I didn't come here by boat. He told me to get on a plane.